Hi, everyone. Chris, you are still muted. Okay, try again.
There we go.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, my
really
pleasure.
honored.
Thank you for having me. I was scared to death I couldn't get on. I'm terrible with technology.
That's okay. We're figuring this out as we go too. Hi, Mark.
Hey, hi, Chris.
Hi, babe.
Good to see you.
It's so nice to see you.
Happy Pride.
Look, I'm wearing my Madonna shirt because it's the only one that fits me.
I love it. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited you're here. So, Alaina, we ready to start?
Actually, I want you to talk for just a little bit. I'm having a little bit technical difficulties. Just interview, and I will be right back.
Well, hi, Chris. Virginia.
Hi.
For everybody who doesn't, this is really seeing behind the mask, right? This is
scary. I'm so sorry.
Oh, this is good. This is like the Broadway back door, right?
Right, and I'm in my basement, and it's so weird being in front of my light without a wig on.
It is, but I have to share with you that my family and so many others that I talk to have really just enjoyed seeing you. We are home in sort of this, I'm calling this our uncharted territory.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I've shared with people, I'm 52. Don't look a day over 29, I know.
Yeah, you have great skin, Mark.
Right, yeah, yeah. All good hair and product. But, I'm 52 and we've just never been through anything like this before. And so in all seriousness, you have provided much, much relief for me and my family. And we watch it. And again, friends that I talk to, and it's our moment of reprieve. And we're so glad that you and so many others are doing that. And I really mean it. I have a 4-year-old and 5-year-old, and they say, Virginia's on. So, as you started a party, and so we're there. And so I'm super excited. Alaina, are we able to play the amazing video?
Yes. So I'm going to share my screen for a second, and we're going to play like one of the greatest videos. I literally cried when I watched it for the first time. So
it was so out. It just happened. So
that's amazing. The best things happen organically.
Yeah, right before the show, or right before the parade started, they said, "Do you mind doing a quick number?" And I was like, "Sure, let's just throw on This Is Me." I really, truly, I didn't know the words that well, and I was so scared. And I thought, "Oh, it was not planned at all." And I saw the protesters. It truly was not planned. It was just ended up being like a perfect moment.
That's amazing. Okay, we are moving on to share this wonderful video.
I'm so excited right now.
How beautiful
So-
is that?
Well, it was crazy moment.
It was so good. What's even more crazy is that Tristan and I are standing there, and you actually walk by and you put your arm on my elbow as you walk by. It was just the stars are aligning. I mean, I have you on the
Right.
call. It's yes, and Alaina and both. I literally sent her the video, Chris, and I have to tell you, she wrote back. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm in tears right now," and the fact that again, it was just so organic and not planned. That's good stuff.
Well, it's I saw them over there out of the corner of my eye, the protesters. When I first started going to Pride a long time ago, there used to be hordes and hordes of protesters. There would be almost a city block full of protesters. So it was very strange to even I saw, oh my gosh, there's only 3 was the first thought that went through my head. And then when I walked over, I had this anger in me, and then it kind of released it. Instead of becoming anger, it became like I felt compassion for them. So somebody had said one time when they saw the video, "Oh, it looks like you flipped them off." And I actually didn't. I gave them the love sign because, even though they have a different view, maybe if they're met with love instead of yelling and hatred, that they would get a little bit more compassionate with me as well. Now, that didn't happen. But, I thought if we lead with love, then maybe others will follow with love. So that was kind of my whole train of thought behind that. And, when that went up on the internet, I didn't even know it was up. And I started getting messages. And then a couple of days later, I got a message from somebody who was the niece of one of the protesters.
Oh, wow.
Apologizing to me, saying that, their family's not like that. And they don't know what happened there. And the best we could do is try to educate and lead with love.
You know what? I love that. And, I want to share with you, and I know you have to go, so because you're so incredibly busy and your dance card is quite full during Pride Month. But just 2 questions. So
Yeah.
how are you and your loved ones, and how are you and your friends, how are you celebrating Pride this year?
So there's a couple different ways. So first of all, I've been out for 25, almost 24 years. And my family, I've done drag for 21 years. And my family just found out that I do drag. And, I speak to people all the time about being their true, authentic self. And it took me a long time to be comfortable to tell my family that I did drag. So I finally took a dose of my own medicine and told my parents, and they were absolutely incredible. So this year's Pride for me is a little different because my parents know everything about me now. I never thought they would, understand. And now I'll come downstairs. My parents are visiting. My dad will be in a share wig, or my mother will call me and tell me my nails are ugly on Instagram. So it's taken a turn. It's turned into even more prideful for me. But the way I'm truly celebrating this year, other than that, I'm actually out and I'm helping protest with Black Lives Matter. The original Pride was a protest. So what I'm trying to do to celebrate Pride this year is to amplify Black voices and voices of color who don't normally have a microphone, who aren't getting that mic time, or who aren't getting the face time in front of a camera. So what I'm trying to do is amplify and elevate those voices to actually have pride for our entire community, not just for those of us who are privileged.
You know what? And I love it. And one of the things that I love, can I plug your Facebook? Can people follow you? Can they? So it's Chris Virginia West.
Yes.
And right now you're doing a wonderful thing. And it's so funny. It's not funny. It was yesterday, of course. Was it yesterday you featured Corey?
Yeah.
And so, and of course, and again, those who have been around, and Rex, my husband, of course, we're like, oh my gosh, it's Corey, which is funny because my daughter now checks her out at the Chanel counter whenever.
Oh yeah.
But you have been featuring, and again, I want everybody to follow Chris Virginia West. You're featuring performers of color.
Yes.
Queens and kings, because you just featured Shawty, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's such an incredible array of talent in this town, and it ranges from kings to queens to assigned female birth entertainers to gender bending to queer to androgynous. And it's really great because we have so much diversity in this town. We have such incredible entertainers of color. And I think all too often they're looked over, and you know, it's a terrible thing. And I think as a show director, it's my job to make sure that they aren't, and to make sure that they're getting equal bookings and equal airtime just as much as anybody else is. So that's kind of my goal now. It's the one thing I can truly do to lend my hand to the cause, to make sure that everyone does understand that Black Lives Matter, and that, you know, that our entertainers of color are incredible in this town.
Well, I will share with you, and then I'm going to let you go. You know, for Alaina and I both, who identify as queer, right? And running for legislature
Right.
is a big deal. But I'll share with you when we think about what we're able to do and what we want to do, because we have big goals. I mean, you know, right now, even with the Ohio Fairness Act and the Supreme Court,
Right.
all the good things, it really is a partnership. And, you know, Alaina and I can't win, we say, without people like you, Chris. And so
Absolutely.
one last thing I want to ask is, will you share, if people want to get involved,
Yes.
right? Say Pride rally. And when I think rally, I do think protest. And when I think protest, I think actionable items. What can people do right now, Chris, to get involved?
Absolutely. So there's quite a few different things you can do. You can take time. If you don't have money, there's ways you can go out and protest on the streets. You can get on Facebook and you know, spread the cause. You can donate money if you do have the money to organizations like the Columbus Freedom Fund, or the Be Quick Fund. There's very many different ways you can do it. You don't have to raise money or spend money if you don't have it, but if you do have it, do that. Other things you can do is simply educating people that are in your family. You know, all too often we make excuses for our family because we say, oh, they're a different generation, or, oh, they just don't know any better. It's time that we stop doing that. And I think that's a big way you can lend a hand, is to educate first at home, your family, and educate those out on the street that you hear saying things. It's time to stand up and use our voices and not be complacent.
I love that.
I love it. Chris, Virginia.
I think that's a big thing.
Chris, Virginia West, happy Pride, my friend.
Happy Pride. I will do anything you need to help. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is a huge honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
Bye, Chris.
Love you all.
Bye. What a treat. So nice.
What a man.
I love it.
Me too.
Love it. So, virtual Pride rally kicked off with a bang, wouldn't you say?
Welcome. Yes, I am so happy we're doing this. This is so much fun.
This is again, it's when you and I talked, it's such important work, right? So for our constituents who identify as LGBTQ or our allies, I see lots of allies on tonight. It's important that we all sort of band together as we march towards equality for LGBTQ. So
yeah, absolutely. So I have a question for you, Mark. I saw your video on Facebook earlier. I want you to tell everyone what Pride means to you, because I thought your answer was so beautiful.
So I shared when I shared that whenever I get asked that question, and inevitably it happens more during Pride Month, as I wear shirts like this and shirts with rainbows and things like that, and people say, you know, well, what does Pride mean to you? And it really is three different things. So it's past, present, and future. And so I think about honoring those who came before me, and I affectionately say those upon whose shoulders I stand, because there are people who literally died so that I could be out and proud. And that's not lost on me. And so I have a duty, I say it's my duty to honor those lives. I love that Stonewall started with a riot, and I love that we are seeing some of that today. Because of that, things changed. When I talk about the present and Pride, I talk about the fact that I get to be genuinely, authentically myself. And I know even Chris used those words. To me, as an out gay man who's married and has 2 children, for me to be able to just be myself is incredible.
Right.
And then I talked about the future, right? And so I think that when I look at young people, and I look at you, Alaina, when I look at young people, I wish all young people were like Alaina Swope. I'll just say it now. But when I look at young people, who we just see so many stories with kids who are struggling with their own identity and struggling how to come out. And Chris even shared his story. Chris didn't tell his parents, and I've known Chris all of those years he's been in Columbus. His parents did not know that he was a performer until this year. And so, but there are young people who are trying to navigate, and I mean navigate, because you have to do some things for some people and some for the other, and you're scared about this person's reaction and this person's. And I just think that I have a responsibility to look to the future and help them, because I've been there and done that. And so if I can help, I can. So
that's beautiful. Yeah, and I similarly feel a responsibility to be as loudly queer as possible. I mean, especially, I am in Zanesville, Ohio, born and raised, and just growing up here, we don't have a lot of queer, community leaders. I didn't know what that looked like. I had to go elsewhere to find that and understand what that meant for me. So running for office, being a candidate, being a nominee, and soon a legislator, it's important for me to talk about it, to be is just exactly who I am. So the queer kids in Zanesville and in Cambridge, and I know they're there, can look at me and say okay, she can do it, I can do this. And it's just about, giving that visibility to the people of this community and our communities.
It is, and I've shared with everybody who knows me, I'm such a big fan of yours, Alaina. And I do love that you are, what did you say? Loud and proud? No, you said.
Yeah, loudly queer.
Loudly queer, right? Unapologetically queer. And I love the fact that, and you do that with intention, right? I think it's just you being yourself. And that's the part that I've fallen in love with. But I think it's just you saying you can be like me in the fact that you can walk proud and proud of who you are.
Right.
So I love that you're doing that. Alaina, let's talk about real quick your campaign.
Right.
Okay. So you are cruising. So tell me what's happening in your campaign and how people can help.
Yes. So a lot is happening every day, all the time with the campaign. Right. We are rolling in endorsements. It's such an honor. Every endorsement we get, some I have to keep a secret for a little bit longer. But we are building up an army of volunteers because we know the work that is ahead of us to elect a young, female, queer, progressive. There you are. We know the work that is going to take. So we are putting it in. So me and my volunteer coordinator, Kimberly, who's a wonderful friend, we are training new volunteers every week to phone bank for us, to reach out to these voters and reach out to voters who maybe haven't gotten a phone call from a candidate before, because we really are working for every vote and we know we need to earn it. So COVID shut a lot down for us, but like a lot of other candidates, we adapt. And so our greatest tool is phone banking. We just got postcards in our hands, and I have already handed out about 2/3 of those postcards that we just got like a few days ago to volunteers who are eager to write them. The energy is in this area, and I'm really, really proud and honored to be a part of it.
So if you ask me about my campaign, I literally want to say ditto.
Yeah.
Although Alaina is a little bit further ahead than I am, she's a little better planner. But I have an amazing campaign manager who can help me now. And so so Mark Carr for Ohio, we are moving forward every single day. And I define success in my life, whether work or personal, as taking one step forward. And so every day we make sure that we're taking one step forward. I have some letters that I'm going to be writing to thank those who have given financial support and those who have volunteered. So those will be going out. And then really we are the same. We are focused on phone banking because that's what we have to do right now. I would love to go and knock on doors, and Alaina and I, when we talked, when you and I talked, Alaina, it's like we both have this craving to go and talk to people. And so we're focusing on getting on the phone and talking to people. I know that you do a video vlog. I'm going to start having some coffee chats and just talk about issues I think I'm going to do those like every other Monday noon and at 7 so that I can catch everybody and just really to talk to everybody. You know, that I think is how we are going to win, both of us. I think both of us have a message that will resonate with most people that we talk to, if not everybody. And so I feel good about where we're at.
I feel great. I think that everyday people feel out of touch with their elected representatives, and we are out here campaigning as hard as we can to tell you that that's not how it has to be. You cannot be represented by someone who doesn't know you, doesn't know your struggle. So we are in it with all of you. We want to represent you because we are you. We are of you, and that's what this fight is about. It's about people power.
And it is a fight. You know,
Yeah.
It really is. It's and both of you and I have both, you know, talked about our opponents, and we say, you know what, we're not going to say they're not doing this or they're doing this terrible thing. We're really going to talk about what it is you and I can do for our districts. But it is a fight. And now we're both asking you, we need you to fight with us to help spread the word. And you know, both of us being new to the political scene, as they say, and some have even called us inexperienced. I will share that the way that we can get our name out there is, again, with you having confidence in us. And so if you need to talk to us to get there, please reach out to Alaina. Please reach out to myself. Again, we're dying to talk to people.
Absolutely. So Mark, share with everyone what the best way to get in touch with you is.
So you can email either me at mark@markcarforohio.com or Andy's my campaign manager, Andy@markcarforohio.com, or you can simply go to the website, www.markcarforohio.com, and click the you're interested, I think is the click, the volunteer, get involved or learn more. One of those.
One of them. They'll figure it out.
One of them. I will find you.
Yes. For me, the best way, go to swope2020.com. As soon as you hit enter, you'll be prompted with a big picture of me and a big text that says get involved. As soon as you press that, we're going to shoot you an email and thank you. And then we will be reaching out to you. If you have never worked on a campaign before, if you have just recently gotten involved in politics, we want you as a part of this team. We will train you. We will give you all the tools you need to succeed, to successfully reach out to the people that are going to elect me. So yeah. I think we're moving on to our favorite songs, right?
Yes, and this is one of the parts that I was so excited about. I was like, what's your favorite song for Pride? Yeah. And so I think we're gonna play your favorite song.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't think I know what this is.
No, I'll tell you. I'm gonna age myself. So live music is a huge deal to me. It was growing up. I have gone to countless concerts. Columbus has just been like a really special hub for me for live music. There's like every type of music venue you could want. So Walk the Moon is this wonderful group of guys in a band from Ohio. Some of them are from Columbus, some of them are from Cincinnati. And I've been to so many of their shows, and they have this song called Different Colors, which, as you can imagine, is about, you know, all of us being different colors. And there's a line that says, different colors, we carry each other. And it's a really meaningful song. When I've been able to march at different Pride parades, it's always played. And so I found a live version of them at Lollapalooza in Chicago that I'm going to play. And I'm going to get emotional even thinking about it.
For your listening pleasure.
Yes.
You know what I got from that song? Says the 52-year-old. Different colors. That's what I got. Different colors. I like it.
All right. So, you liked it though?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I like live music too. I remember, well, I won't even tell you when I went to my first concert. Yes.
Okay, so I am going to bring up another very special guest here. I'm going to bring up Dominic Detweiler with Equality Ohio, and we are going to talk about legislation and policy. Yay!
Everybody's cheering. Dominic.
Hi, Dominic.
Hello, how are you all?
We are doing so good. Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
So I'm just going to do a quick introduction here. So Dominic is the public policy strategist at Equality Ohio, which is our statewide LGBTQ education and advocacy organization. So Dominic works at the State House to pass pro-LGBTQ legislation, like the Ohio Fairness Act, which we'll talk about, and protecting kids from conversion therapy, among several other really amazing, incredible, important things. So Dominic, how are you?
I am doing well. We're getting to the end of a very long week after a very long bit of Ohio House session. So appreciating the little bit of a break that is coming up.
Good, I'm glad. Okay, so we have some slides for you.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and start while you're getting those up and just kind of introduce Equality Ohio for those who don't know. We're a nonpartisan organization, and really our goal is to promote lived and legal equality for LGBTQ Ohioans. And if we get to that second slide, we do that through several different avenues. One of which, so I kind of do a lot of our state house advocacy, but we also work in municipalities to pass local non-discrimination ordinances, like we saw in Reynoldsburg that passed on Monday. And we do a lot of public education work on the LGBTQ community and the issues we face. And then we also have a legal clinic, which I'll touch on later. I do want to take a second to center us. I know Chris and Mark talked about this earlier, but I wanted to center us on a couple things that make this movement particularly important, this moment particularly important in the work we do. First is this moment of reckoning that our country is having around racial justice. Equality Ohio stands in total support of the movement to combat racism and police brutality. It's really important to remember that we celebrate Pride largely as a remembrance of the Stonewall riots in June of 1969. Those were uprisings against police violence. Led by, sorry, am I there? Yeah. And we just can't have LGBTQ equality without racial justice tied into that. We also are in this really strange time of COVID-19. And in addition to disproportionately impacting people of color, COVID-19 is posing a massive threat to LGBTQ folks, especially those who have whose immune systems have been compromised because they are living with HIV and AIDS. LGBTQ folks still experience stigma and discrimination when they seek healthcare, which means that they have lower access to care and insurance coverage. On the next slide, I want to talk a little bit about this fantastic Supreme Court decision that we had last week. So in the Bostock decision, 6-3 majority, opinion written by Justice Gorsuch, who was Trump's first nominee. What it says is that under federal law, LGBTQ Americans can't be fired or denied a job because of who they are or who they love, which is monumental and honestly was a huge surprise to everyone. We were kind of all preparing for a much different outcome. But that can't be the end of our work. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about what that work is. So it was a massive win, but it's really just the beginning. Bostock doesn't cover all employment decisions. and LGBTQ Ohioans can still be discriminated against in housing and public accommodations. And Ohio is still one of 28 states without an LGBTQ inclusive civil rights code. On the next slide, you're gonna see a really cool map of the non-discrimination ordinances that I was talking about earlier that we have passed over the last 15 years. Reynoldsburg being the most recent one on this past Monday. So there are now 31 municipalities in Ohio with these protections, including Newark, which I thought is going to be notable for Mark's district. On the next slide, the solution really is the Ohio Fairness Act. Even if every town and city in Ohio were to pass a non-discrimination ordinance, it wouldn't come close to covering everyone in the state. It comes out to a little less than half of the people in the state live in a city or a town that could protect their residents. The Ohio Fairness Act has really seen a huge amount in the Senate. It's led by Senator Nick Antonio, and on the House side, Representatives Brett Hillier and Michael Skindle. It's the first time that it's ever been introduced with bipartisan support in both the House and the Senate, and it's gotten the furthest it's gotten in a really long time. We really think that this year we could get it across the line, finally. We've been working on this for 15 years. Next slide. Yeah, so as a nonpartisan organization, and as an organization that really believes that everyone can have a journey story around support for LGBTQ folks, a lot like what Chris and Mark were talking about at the beginning with the protesters at Pride. We don't endorse candidates, but we kind of have the next best thing, which is a scorecard that can give folks information on the voting history and like the public statements that their elected folks have had in the past 2 years. So we have the 2018 scorecard is out and accessible to folks there on our website, and the 2020 scorecard will be out very soon, probably in the next month. Another part of what we do is our legal clinic. It provides free legal services to LGBTQ folks who are living at or below 300% of the federal poverty line. The legal clinic takes cases in the areas that are listed there, but they're also willing to help refer someone to an attorney who can help them even if it's outside of those specific areas. This is a really exciting thing that started the beginning of last year, and our legal clinic is serving so many folks on a regular basis. And if folks in your districts are in need of some help, definitely would recommend them checking out our legal clinic. So I bring to you all tonight 2 very easy asks. The first is to help us recruit members for Ohio Business Competes. It's our coalition of almost 900 businesses and other groups who support LGBTQ equality at the state level. So if you're a business owner or know someone who might be interested in joining, please join. We have like 3 more. If we were to get 3 more members tonight, we would break the 900 mark, which is the biggest coalition like that across the country with the exception of Texas. Fantastic. The last thing is I want to invite everyone to our Equality Wins campaign launch and 15-year anniversary celebration. That's going to be tomorrow from 3 to 7. Feel free to pop in whenever you'd like. There's going to be an interview with our founders, a discussion with Jim Obergefell, the named plaintiff in the case that gave us marriage equality. He's a good friend of Equality Ohio. We're also going to have a panel of Black elected leaders from across the state talking about their work both to combat racism and to help promote LGBTQ equality. And of course, there's going to be drag performances. So feel free to join us there. We'd love to see you. that's all I have. If you have any questions or want to get more involved, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Dominic at Equality Ohio, or you can give me a call or a text. My cell phone number is there, and feel free to follow us on social media, but we're excited to work with all of you.
Thank you so much for that. That was so informative.
I was going to say, Dominic showed up with slides tonight. Well done, sir.
All right. So Dominic, do me one favor. Repeat the 2 asks that you just gave. So
Absolutely.
we can really nail it in here.
The first ask is, if you're a business leader, a business owner, business leader, nonprofit leader, and your organization hasn't joined Ohio Business Competes yet, do that. It's ohiobusinesscompetes.org. There's a join tab at the far right, and helping us get to over 900 members by the end of the week, by the time our anniversary celebration is going to be great. It's going to be just another thing to celebrate tomorrow.
That's incredible. Yeah. Okay. And the dot cover number 2, or is there?
And then number 2 is join us tomorrow afternoon.
That sounds like really fun. I will definitely be joining.
It's going to be a great time.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Dominic. We really appreciate how you just educated us, and we appreciate the work that you do.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Well, that was awesome.
This is so fun.
That's Equality Ohio just really is, I think, just that go-to resource. You know, and it's I'm so excited for the things that are coming up, and I sure hope we can, if you're listening, help Dominic make his goal. Sorry, my phone was dying.
Every time it's just me, I get nervous. Like, please stand by.
I'm still here. So is it time for my favorite song yet?
It is. Do you want any introduction, or do you want me to just play it?
I'm just gonna say Mama Cass. That's all.
Okay.
Mama Cass.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all know the most fantastic lady of the now sound, the inimitable Miss Mama Cass. Just do your thing,
baby. Nobody can tell you there's only one song worth singing. They may try and sell ya, 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna be nowhere, the loneliest kind of lonely. It may be rough going just to do your thing, the hardest thing to do. But you gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. So if you cannot take my hand,
I'm not crying.
You're not crying. I'm not. It is, I tell you what, literally it's one of those songs that just takes you back. And it's so funny. I'm watching some of the people who are watching on my page. And I think I may have sang that song maybe with some of them at nighttime, maybe at Union Station in downtown Columbus. But that song just really has got me through some times, because when it says, you know, you just have to make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along, and be good and strong and confident in that. And so, yeah, I love Mama Cass.
Yeah. Also, I need that dress like bad.
Right? That's pretty fabulous dress.
So beautiful. Okay. So Dominic talked a little bit about the really exciting news from Reynoldsburg. So we have one more very special guest. So Mark, I will let you introduce and I will unmute her.
Thank you. Miss Kristen Bryant. Kristen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Let's see. There we go. How you doing, Mark?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good.
You know, I have to share with you, and I literally just said this. I think I say it all the time. When I had Council President, Madam President, and Miss Angie Jenkins on for my campaign kickoff, when I think about Reynoldsburg, I truly think with all of my being that this is what happens when the right people get elected and elected officials matter. I know I shared that I was there that night when they all got sworn in Reynoldsburg, and there were tears running down my face because I knew just how monumental it was. And then, Kristen, I'll share with you that I heard the story of you and what you did to make that happen. And one of the things that you have been working on, which again, more tears at the council meeting that we just had this week, where you passed amazing legislation, anti-LGBTQ discrimination legislation in your city. And so I would love for you to share with us the journey of how that came to be, and the hard work that you all have done now to have that legislation.
Well, that's a very loaded question, and we could be here all night. But I will say, I tried to bring an anti-discrimination ordinance back in 2018. Democrat Stacey Baker and myself, we were elected in the 2017 election. And in the process leading up to the election, one of my goals for the city was to pass legislation like this. And so in April of 2018, I introduced an ordinance very similar to what Bexley has. And Stacey nicely seconded my motion to send it on to council. And well, we didn't get it out of committee. So fast forward to June of 2018, he and I are the only ones that signed a resolution recognizing Pride Month in the city of Reynoldsburg. No one else would sign. And I was bound and determined that one way or the other, I was going to get this legislation through. And so I needed reinforcements. And if anybody is familiar with our slate last year and in 2017, I tend to recruit people to run as a slate, and they don't usually turn me down.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I've got all the subtlety of a bull in a china shop. But we got it through because we swept all the city offices out here in 2019,
Yes,
which was, I believed we could do it, but I don't think anybody else did. And we made it happen. And we had put together a mailer promising that we would pass this legislation. And I wanted it to say, we're going to pass this legislation within the first 6 months of these new electeds taking office, I was kind of talked away from that. Oh, let's not bite off more than we can chew. But we made it happen. We made it
Yes.
happen Pride Month, and I couldn't be more excited to get this just hallmark legislation passed. And I'm really hoping that the Ohio Fairness Act will pass and this will become obsolete. Nothing would make me happier, but I'm not so sure. I spoke with some of the legislators recently when they were trying to get the racism as a public health crisis resolution passed. And some of the stories I heard, along with questions that accompanied them, along with facial expressions of the senators, I would like to be optimistic that they will pass it, and nothing would please me more, but I think we have a lot more fighting left to do. So,
Well,
in the meantime, we will, encourage other municipalities to pass this so that, we can make state legislation obsolete if we work hard enough.
well, and here's the thing, literally my cheeks hurt from just looking at you and hearing you talk, because I know that there's such, I always talk about in my campaign, and I know Alaina does too, dignity of work. And you really did put in the work. And every single person that I talked to, Kristen, hold you in such high regard, because that really was for you a non-negotiable. It was going to be a non-negotiable for you. Now, tell us why was it so important for you to get that done?
I'm just a believer that every human should be treated like a human. It's just that simple.
It's just that simple, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
You wanna join in? It is that simple.
It's just that simple.
It's that simple.
I mean, nobody's asking for anything special here. That's what people don't understand. We didn't grant something special, some package of rights that nobody else gets but the LGBT community. We're just wanting humans to treat people like humans, or as I like to say, just don't be an asshole.
I like that.
You heard it here. You heard it here. You know what? Here's the thing. This is the last thing that I'll ask. What do you want people to know? Because you do represent Reynoldsburg and it is part of my district, District 71. What do you want people to know about the city of respect? What do you want them to know about Reynoldsburg?
We are in the business of restoring respect. It's been something that I feel has been missing for a while. And it's been hard to watch. So, it's time to get back to being the city of respect. Treat everyone the way you would want to be treated. It's not rocket science.
I tell you, don't be an asshole, and it's not rocket science. I think I'm falling in love with you. Listen, Kristen, Brian, thank you so much for getting on. I encourage everybody to go and visit Reynoldsburg. There's a reason that council is proud of what they're doing there. And it really is monumental. I mean, you're only the 31st municipality that has this. And so that's really wonderful. Thank you again for getting on, and just thank you for everything that you do for us humans.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I'm telling you, I'm smiling tonight.
What an amazing panel we have here.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so we are going to say our goodbyes. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This has been so much fun for us. I hope it's been fun and educational for you. And I will just echo Kristen's hesitation at her faith in the State House to get this Fairness Act passed, because there is a Republican supermajority in the State House that is not working for working people. They are not working. Oh.
Host now, Mark. I think it says I'm the host now. So I'm not sure where you went, Alaina. Alaina, you did so good up until this point. There she is. Unmute yourself. You'll be good.
Sorry, my my Zoom just went down.
You've been a rock star. It's all good. You were in the middle.
It's not working for you and me. It is not working for anyone. It is extremist, and to get equality, to achieve equality in the state of Ohio, we must elect champions of everyday people like Mark and myself. And to get there, we need your help. If you're watching this, know that Mark and I are running to fight for you, but we need your help to get us into that state house because it is an uphill battle in our districts.
It is. And the status quo, this is what I'll say, and the status quo is no longer good enough. It's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for Alaina. It's not good enough for any of you. And so if you want true representation, help us get there. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you,
Happy
everyone.
Pride.
Enjoy your night.
Happy Pride.